Are you all sitting comfortably? Then I'll continue. So, let me see, where was I? Oh yeah. The teenager couldn't find the person in his house. Looking around, Chris shouted, "Lucario, I'm home!" On the second floor of the house, a figure entered through the terrace's entrance. Really nice variation of language there. His black feet touched the white tiles on the floor. A deep, gruff voice then said, "I'm up here, Chris!" Hearing the sound of footsteps rushing up, the person saw the teen coming from the stairs, all the while flashing a small smile as he carried with him the game he had bought. If the situation had taken place half a year ago, Chris would have screamed at the sight of a Lucario in his house. Alas, this was not the case anymore. Ah, that special person I mentioned is a Lucario. The teen and the Pokemon approached each other, and the first looked up at the towering Pokemon, looking down at him with a smile. And he's beyond special in many ways than one. I feel like I should probably stop doing this voice, but, I'm enjoying it too much. First things first, you're surely wondering how I sound a bit like Christopher Walken. You're surely wondering how a Lucario like this one appeared in this world. Well, I have no idea how it happened back then, but at the start of summer vacations during a rainy night, a lightning bolt struck by DS down, and from it Lucario's Pokeball came out. It accidentally opened up and he appeared, sprawled over the floor because he had a fever. When I saw him the first time, I was at a complete loss of words, and I feared that he would rip me apart. Luckily, doing the right decisions led to me becoming acquainted with him. It was a long struggle for me to get him to like me. He was a very oblivious Pokemon who knew almost nothing about life. Fortunately, this Lucario can use telepathy to talk, but he can actually speak with his mouth just fine. It doesn't mean he knows how to read, though. During many days in the past, I took it upon myself to look after him by teaching Lucario how to live life while we tried to find a way back to his home. We had lots of fun moments together. I vividly remember his first shower and his first steak. But still, he longed for his dream to reunite with his real trainer. When the day he was debating himself what to do about his issue that he was being stuck in this world, I cried out, and after a while he turned around and he also cried. Without warning, he embraced me and yelled out, "I don't want to leave you like this. I don't want to leave you like this. You're my real trainer." And ever since that fateful day, my solitary life changed forever for the better. I was a teen whose parents worked away from home to assist important corporations with revolutionary ideas. I didn't know much about what they do, but they're almost never at home. That made things easier for me to raise the special Lucario as my loyal Pokemon. You see, this Lucario is not normal. He's a 6'7" tall Lucario. I'm just 5'05". 5'5", rather. Just the way he wrote it out just tripped me up. My head only reaches the murderous weapon that was his chest spike. Was? What happened to it? "Oh no!" Chris said as he accidentally let go of the bag, slipping down the white couch. Lucario merely stared at the direction the item slipped down into. He bent down a bit and lifted the couch with a single hand. The couch was heavy enough to carry 2 people, but the Lucario didn't struggle a single bit. "There it is!" Lucario said, looking at the bag. "And this Lucario just so happens to have Herculean strength. For reasons unknown, he is surely my world's strongest being there is. Mundane tasks such as cutting down logs with an axe and doing some furniture redecoration were easily taken care of with a single hand of his, despite having the strength of obliterating my house in a single punch. I don't even know if he can do that much, but do you want me to find out? Fat chance. He's an incredibly likable person. He just doesn't have the strength of 1,000 men. He's got a really tough body of steel under a coat of fluffy blue and yellow fur. Yes, I said fluffy. Don't you look weird at me. I remember how a brick fell on top of his head from the 3rd floor's roof to the garden outside, and he just kept staring me while that brick broke apart the moment it landed on his head. That must have been a pretty chilling sight. Morbidly enough, we were talking that day, and he didn't stop when said brick fell on him. He just kept talking and rubbed the dust on his head. On top of that, Lucario knows four... I feel like I'm learning too much about this prick. No, Lucario knows 4 moves: Force Palm, Extreme Speed, Double Team, and the ever-so devastating Aura Sphere. Coupled with his almighty strength, these moves become, what's the word? Broken. Force Palm released a rather small blow, but just you wait until that thing goes off. It looked pretty small, yet its intensity was deadly. A tree would shatter into pieces. And then there was the Aura Sphere. If he wanted, he could make some monstrously big Aura Spheres and charge them in 2 seconds flat. In a world where there are no Pokemon or battles, Lucario had no choice but to enjoy life with me. You fucking forced him to. We never complained though. We absolutely enjoy every single second of our time together. Oh, did I mention he was a gamer? I taught him how to be one. And today we were going to waste away our time playing Brawl. Yeah, wasting time is something we can all relate to, I think. That's about it. Chris sighed and went to pick up the bag. Once stepping out from the couch's shadow, the teen saw the towering Lucario putting the couch back down on the floor. He looked at his trainer. "Did you find it?" Lucario asked. Chris then took out the item from the bag and placed the game in front of him. "Yep, I got it," he smiled. "Now we can play it. Oh god, we have to do it now before the shows start later," he said. "I'm so excited to play this with you." Lucario nodded and looked at the game. "Since you were this excited..." He stared at the game's case. "Huh." The teen raised an eyebrow once he saw Lucario giving the game's box a hard look. "Lucario," he said. "Lucario, what's wrong?" You're glaring at the box. "There is something wrong with this game," Lucario said, staring at the box. "Wrong?" Chris asked, confused. "I don't know what it is, but it feels evil." "Were you watching TV during the whole night again? I told you not to do that." No." Lucario blushed, shaking his head. "But, Chris..." Through Lucario's eyes, he could see a purple aura coming out from the very box. This Lucario was a master of auras, unlike the normal Lucario stated in the descriptions. The Herculean Pokemon easily tracked down auras beyond 100 miles. Not that there was any use to this highly developed sixth sense. Lucario only watched from afar how Chris's life developed in high school. However, only the living could exude auras. An item exuding a dark aura was definitely not normal. "There is definitely a dark aura on that box," Lucario added, shrugging at the aura trying to reach out for them. Chris looked worried. "Well, I don't really feel anything evil from the box. I believe you, though," he said. "But how can an insignificant item like this give out a dark aura?" "Perhaps we shouldn't put it in the console," Lucario said. "I don't want to find out what could happen if something were to come out of it." Chris was used to having a supernatural Pokemon accompany him all the time. It was half a year ago that they met, but there wasn't anything besides Lucario that happened until he brought up the unbelievable fact that a game box had a dark aura. "That dark aura is red, right?" Chris asked. Oh, so wait, from what I understand, I guess the previous one is literally just a fish out of water comic. The previous fan fiction, he wrote, the Bond of Aura, whatever it's called, is literally just a fish out of water about a Lucario making friends with a teenage boy. That sounds like the dumbest shit ever. Oh well. What did I get up to? Yes, Lucario said. "I'm trying to pierce through it to find out more about its reason to have such a thing, but I can't find anything." "That's impossible," Chris muttered. "You're a master of auras, but you can't discern anything from this?" Lucario looked down in shame. "I'm sorry," he said. "Maybe I need to hone my aura skills even more." "No," Chris said, making Lucario look at him. "You're a master. There just has to be a good reason behind this box giving you that evil aura. You know what? I think we should just go ahead with this and try it out ourselves," he said. Lucario looked a bit dismayed at the proposal. "Maybe you were imagining things." "No, I'm not," Lucario said, looking a bit serious. "But maybe I'm hallucinating a bit. This is just a game." Chris forced a smile. "Then let's go to my room and boot this up," he said. "I'm so looking forward to playing as a Lucario." Lucario grinned a bit. "That makes 2 of us." "Dibs on the blue one." "What? I don't like the other palettes. They make my species look silly." As the two debated on choosing the right colour palettes, the dark aura that the box contained lingered in the air. Yeah, they don't seem to care very much about that. They kind of forgot about it. Oh well. To be continued.